rehearsal footage, I think. For what?
For a first take, I think. This is cool! Everybody should drop their rehearsal footage.
What are you drinking? You got some water? Maybe some lemon?
Some juice.
Just like juice, yeah.
But he's obviously hydrating hot. Yes! Okay, pause. Okay, can we have a moment for those freaking harmonies? Because that is so crisp. Also, they didn't sing as full fold as you're getting it here in the first take. They actually pulling back, but you need to rehearse full folded and completely full bodied too,
to then be able to
pull back, because otherwise you're always gonna be reaching for that, and you're never gonna actually get to a peak when you're in the studio.
A lot of discussion in the circles, the fan circles of like the first take performance and the
e-bike, the bike performance too.
Yeah, but the first take has been the one that's like at least in the reactor community aspect of things. Like some people didn't like the backing track that they had, not the backing track, just the fucking instrumental. Yeah, it wasn't the same as the fucking original, but what can you do? It's like.
It's okay. I think that's an opportunity. Fine. This is the sort of like moments.
It's about the voice. It's not about the instrumental.
Yes, these are the sort of moments that allow the group to explore different versions of the songs. And actually, it also keeps a dynamic for them as performers
and for the fans.
There's nothing more exhausting than having to repeat the same song in the same style over and over again without actually allowing for any creativity to seep through.
Correct.
I love that we get this.
Life's a place designed to bring the back. Pessimist and young cannot contest. Race is over inside me, not the brain. Gossip bomb, but this never ends.
Jesus Christ.
The fact that he's doing that sitting down and this is warming up. The only warming up thing that you hear in that single phrase is a little bit of a grab at the beginning of that singing phrase.
To get there.
Guys, a little bit of a grab.
Yeah. That's in a warm-up.
And can I say something? I don't know what time.
This looks early morning.
Doing this.
Early morning.
I have no idea when in their schedule this is happening. I have no idea how tired or how rested they are for this performance, and the fact that Estelle is just not human. Estelle's just not human.
You know who sounded very rested? Justin.
Oh yeah, he sounded
Justin
really good.
Sounded
and
very
Pablo
fresh.
also sounded really fresh.
Pablo also sounded very, very fresh.
But the fact that in Estelle's delivery, because a lot of people in the vocal coach community and like the sort of like the vocal freaks, a lot of people that freak out about the technicalities of this, they often take Stell as like the role model for a lot of like vocal technique and delivery and sort of like the standard that it should be in. And I totally agree with that, but it also dehumanizes a bit what actually happens in the body, and these are the sort of like moments where you would actually see some humanity, but there's none. This guy is perfect.
No, but
it's
but
so
they're not
impressive.
perfect. That's the whole point of it.
But it's so impressive how he can do even at this stage, you know.
They're not perfect. They're
absolutely not.
This is why everyone needs to warm up, and this is why they do things the way they do it. And it's all of this ability to be able to do this in a rehearsal session to then also be able to be good enough to be posted publicly.
Yes.
It's all through just pure hard fucking sweat and tears and
discipline, guys.
And discipline.
And
so
don't underestimate vocal discipline and the approach off stage that they must have.
This is earned. This is not
Absolutely.
given. That's why I don't like it when people say like, oh, they can't do anything wrong. It's like, well that's sort of like taking away all the mistakes they have made in their past behind closed doors to be able to get to this. That's essentially, I think, basically what Pablo was saying in that monologue as well. It's like, you don't fucking have.
It's you versus you.
Correct. You don't have to be perfect to fucking do this or do whatever you want. Also, big up Britain, yeah? Big up Britannia. has to warm up so much harder than everyone. He has to warm up so much harder than everyone.
Also,
I call it like if you ever seen how fighters warm up before a really big fight, before any fight really, you actually have to sweat, man. You have to work, and you want to get in the ring sweaty. You don't want to get in the ring cold, and it's similar with this because you only have one take. You know.
Correct. I actually love the fact that if you look, this video is 1 minute and 28 seconds, and if you repeat it every time, you let it loop, and you're looking at one individual over and over, you'll see how they are doing different things that actually are tailored for the style of singing.
Yes.
In comparison to the rest of the members. So say for example, Stel, that we've been talking about him throughout the whole video. He's very active, he's very physical, he's sort of moving a lot. There's a lot of physical exertion going through, because you have to warm up the physical body too, not just the vocal folds, not just your full folds, not the larynx, but your whole body, because it works as an anchoring. And then you also are looking, for example, a more laid back approach, for example, to Josh. He's sort of working through the vocal range, but in a speech quality way, which is very similar to how you would see rappers jump into a radio booth or do freestyle in that sort of way. That it's very relaxed, and it's more about what you're actually accentuating in the phrasing. And then you see somebody like Ken. Felipe here is very, very still.
He has to be.
He has to find that foundation. That stillness needs to carry throughout the whole of the performance, whether he's standing, whether he's dancing, whether he is just doing a radio show. This sort of stillness and discipline throughout the movement, and how he's finding the lower range of that basso profundo sound, come from a lot of grounding. If you look at his feet, are always on the ground.
On the floor, in comparison to everyone else.
They're always on the ground, and his actual physical sitting position is sort of like leaning forward, but his torso is always very straight. You don't see him hunching over.
He's also the one that has moved the least his grounding.
Yes.
Everyone else is very... they're moving their feet,
Happy
they're
feet.
playing around, happy feet, but
And
he
you
has
need-
to be fucking rooted to the floor. Son.
And then you have people like Justin and Pablo, who both work at a similar sort of like energy pace throughout the whole song, which for higher belts, they will lean backwards or try to find grounding forward. But it's just completely different for everybody, and they have a different approach to warming up too, which is a really good example of if you're learning to sing, or if you are a young singer who's developing your own technique, you have to begin to understand what works for you, and it's not always going to be what works for other people. And it's really cool, because obviously in this environment, you're hearing different volumes, you're hearing different impetudes, you're hearing different approaches to the singing phrases, and they all have a different sort of take to it, and that's the reason why they work.
Goodbye.